introductions. My name is Paul Eberhardt, and I'm here with my buddy Andrew
Ilkew.
Thank you. I forgot already. Off to a bad start for me already. Andrew Ilkew will be bringing you the action from today's game, but we're going to join the PA announcer with the starting lineups and the video presentation prior to the start of this big game between the St. John's and Barriere. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back here at the St. John's Jam, getting ready for our starting lineups. For Barriere, we have number 4, Ty Hartman, number 6, Tyson Schilling, number 10, Cameron Kerslake, number 12, Cash Lumley, and 14, Aaron Van Sickle. And for your St. John's, we have Eason Tam, number 1, Stephen Lee, number 4, Alan Pan, number 7, Armin Sandu, number 13, and Martin Chen, number 20. Well, Andrew, what do we expect to see today?
Well, it's going to be a battle of two teams here. Barriere's got the size advantage. St. John's is going to try to look to use their speed and quickness and use the home crowd to their advantage.
And a great crowd it is. It is packed to the rafters here at St. John's, and even behind the hoop, if you can see on the camera, it's packed in the standing room only. A great environment as we have a traveling violation on the first play of the game. A little extra step taken there by Martin Chen. We have 2 ranked teams here, too. Well, this tournament, I believe there's 6 of the top 10 ranked teams, single A, in the province competing in this tournament. I think Barriere's 5. And St. John's is 9. Does that sound about right?
That is about right, yeah. And we also got Unity and Credo.
And Unity, of course, they're number 1 right now, are they not?
They are?
They are. All right, we have our first foul of the game. And number 4, Stephen Lee, going to head to the line for St. John's with 2 shots.
We're live streaming it. We can't hear it.
Okay. Thank you. Hey. Eason Tan on the line. Complete the 3-point play. Rebound Barriere. And right ball across the front court. Layup's no good. We have a foul on number 4, Stephen Lee. It's going to remain Barriere ball.
Not sure if our audio is working right now. We're just going to do a test check.
Two for Barriere.
There's the 3-pointer up on the way. It's off the mark. Rebound St. John's. Coming back in transition. Oh, too bad. It looked like Chen just wasn't ready for that pass. But St. John looking to run like you talked about earlier. They're going to want to get up and down the floor.
Both teams looking little nervous here. A lot of turnovers to begin.
You know, Coach Kinman not liking that call too much. A little bit bump, forced the out of bounds.
Little pat on the head for the ref.
I think you got that right too. It wasn't a big bump, but it was enough to force the out of bounds, so the ref had to call it. All right, Kerslake with the ball up high. He drives middle, gets good penetration, kicks it out for the 3, shot fake drive. There's a tough floating layup, no good from Van Sickle. Baseline drive, good left hand, but no finish. Again, still seeing a little bit of nerves here, but there we go. Nice pass down the floor for the layup.
And another missed layup.
Yeah, wow. And there's a nice offensive board by Hartman, and he's fouled. He'll head to the free throw line. Great environment for these teams to be playing in. As you hear the St. John's fans now going crazy.
The referees can't even hear the horn. They're
That's
trying
right.
to get a sub in here, and they couldn't even hear it. That's the second foul on Lee.
And we've just been told that the audio is back up and running now. So if you missed a bit of our audio earlier, if it was me talking, you probably didn't miss a whole lot anyway, so don't worry about it. And the fans here making a ton of noise, making it hard for Hartman as he misses the first one. Misses them both.
Oh, that looked like an offensive foul, but no call.
And another missed layup. All right, St. John's looking to push the action again with Eason Tan. Barriere playing man-to-man. There's a give-and-go cut. Count it. And this place explodes, but back comes Barriere with transition of their own. Another reverse
offensive
layup.
rebound.
And I'm not sure. Are they calling a foul on that rebound, do you think, or was it on the shot?
They're calling on the rebound.
Okay.
That's the fourth.
Yeah, they're going to put, that was on Van Sickle, and they're going to put themselves in bonus for the rest of the quarter. Barriere needs to attack because they're going to be shooting free throws the rest of the way. As after only 3 minutes, St. John's picked up 14 fouls.
Barriere is looking to transition and getting easy looks, but as you said, they're not finishing.
Yeah, big time. Good steal there as Sy picks up the loose ball. Power layup, no good. Schilling reverses the ball inside. Little foul line jump shot. That's good. As Van Sickle knocks down the foul line jumper. 5-4 here in the early going for St. John's. Now it looks like Barriere's gone into a zone here, I think. No, they're still standing man. Easton reverses it. Oliver side drives, kicks, three is good. Drive and kick three as Pan Allen. Traveling violation. One thing we're seeing here in the early going is you can't sleep even when you score because both teams, and actually Barriere has really been pushing the ball well. They're just, as you said, having no luck finishing at all.
St. John's is going to really have to tighten up the transition defense. Almost every time they shoot, Barriere's able to get a 2-on-1 or 3-on-2 down the court.
Absolutely. All right, ball's on the wing with Alex Smith, reverses it to Eason Tan. Oliver Sy looking to drive, goes inside. Martin Chen, little jump hook, he's fouled. As Cameron Kerslake got caught for the reach in. Give me 2 foul shots for Chen.
Chen's a very accomplished post player. He's got really good footwork. Looks to get the ball inside, can step out for the 3. However, he doesn't get to face many players that are bigger than him in the regular season or in their exhibition games. So he's doing his best fighting in there as their only real true big.
Yeah, you can see with Barriere, of course, has Kerslake at 6'3" and Van Sickle at 6'4". Also Schilling at 6'4". And that's the one big difference in high school basketball in BC. Sort of as you move up from the tiers, the players tend to get bigger and stronger. And there's a 3-ball knocked down from Cash Lumley. Good block inside, great defense, but Van Sickle didn't leave his feet, and there you go, there's that transition we're talking about. But fortunately for St. John's, Barriere just missing layup after layup.
Yeah, St. John's has got the guards are in no man's land. When St. John's is shooting, their guards aren't getting straight back or offensively rebounding. They're just caught in the middle, and Barriere's taking advantage, but as you've said, they've missed a layup again. Middle
drive here from Tan. Good ball movement here from St. John's. A little runner down the middle. A little floater is good. The fans love that one. Alex Smith with this. And there you go again. Nobody back. And this time they make the layup. And Coach Kinnaman has seen enough as Lumley converts on an easy layup. And I think there might be a little discussion in the St. John's timeout about getting some sort of long and short safety back from the St. John's guards.
They are busy celebrating the baskets, and it's 2 points the other way.
Well, and usually most teams, usually your point guard or your two guard are going to be designated the guys to be back. But I think, like you said, they're pretty excited in this environment. They score a big hoop, and even if you just lose your focus for that 1 or 2 seconds, the way Barriere's running the ball, you're going to give up a layup.
Absolutely. It must be something that they've focused on this year with their practices and what they are doing in games, because they have no hesitation whatsoever what they're doing as soon as they get the ball.
Looking around this gym, again, we're packed house here. Huge amount of supporters. I love the fact up in the bleachers there, up in the above the gym, we got the band playing. I mean, this is what high school basketball should be all about.
Let's go, Eagles.
All right, here comes St. John's. After that timeout, we'll see what they're going to draw up here is Alan Pan. There's a 3-ball. It's up. It's off the back rim. Nice tip, but Chen couldn't finish it. Van Sickle comes down with the board. Barriere looking to see if they can tie this game or take the lead in the 3. Driving a great strip there. Awesome defense played by number 7.
Oh, it looked like he got fouled there.
Yeah, Alan Pan, maybe a little out of control.
And they're going to keep, it's got to be checked out of bounds.
Yeah, the other referee noticed, and good communication there, so he's called the tip. Now they should get the shot clock probably at about 27 or 6 to see if they notice it. Looks like he's going to get on that.
Shouldn't be.
Well,
18.
it can't be 18. Can't be 18.
No, it can't be.
No, they just pushed it off the floor. Oh, well. Nice spin.
There it is. There's the footwork coming through. Nice finish.
Yeah, nice spin back to the right hand.
They go to a 2-2-1 press here.
Yeah, a little half-court trap.
Oh, and this time Black gets called for the same foul. It looked like it was at the other end.
Yeah, and that official on that call was behind center. Pretty tough for him to see that angle, but I guess he saw him reach in, and now that is 5 fouls, so Barriere will be shooting for the remainder of the quarter as Kurt Slake goes to the line. Makes both free throws. St. John's Eagles still nursing their 2-point lead. Baseline drive there from Cy. Kicks it back out. There's a 3-ball up, and it's pure.
That's the second 3-ball for Allen. If he gets hot, he's going to stay hot, I think.
St. John's very aggressive in this zone. They're running and trapping, which leaves them open on the weak side for ball reversal, but Barriere misses the triple, and here comes St. John's again. See if they can maybe find Allen because he was hot. Chen goes inside, in and out.
Oh.
Back comes the Barriere. Lob pass for the Cougars, but he stepped out of bounds.
So we've definitely seen a change there in the transition defense. That's 3 times now the St. John's has gotten back. The last 3 times Barriere's got the ball.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Barriere definitely in a 2-3 zone now. Not too much movement here at St. John's, a lot of standing still. But there's a great drive and a wonderful finish from Chen as he's going to get an opportunity for the N1. That foul was on Van Sickle, and that's now 4 fouls on Barriere as we have a sub coming into the game. Looks like Easton Town's trying to get back in the game.
There's one.
Once again, I think a little issue with hearing the buzzer for the subs.
I think so. Easton coming back in the game. He's the fastest player on this St. John's team, able to get up and down the court quickly.
Oh, and look at that, eh? What a beautiful inbounds pass.
Yeah.
Good recognition, but again, another tough miss layup. Little runner on the baseline from Alex Smith. St. John's showing some transition of their own with about a 3-second basket there. Good
And
trap at half court. It's going to be a foul.
And they call the foul. We're in penalty.
Foul's going to be on Smith. 2 shots for Van Sickle. No, check that. Sorry, 2 shots for Mitchell. First one misses off the front rim. St. John's with a double-digit lead now. Barriere, critical moment for Barriere this last 2 minutes of this quarter. They don't want to let this game get away from them. Going to need to get some stops here. As we have another sub coming into the game for St. John's. Satyam Goyal going to see his first action coming in for Alan Pan.
And Barriere stays in the zone.
Right now, St. John's is playing a 5-out against this zone.
And Chen goes to the hoop again.
Beautiful. You know, if you're the Barriere coach, you got to be pretty unhappy. You're playing a 2-3 zone and you're letting a guy penetrate right to the rim for a layup. It's one of the reasons you play zone, right, is to keep that penetration out.
Yeah, force the outside shot, and they're doing it in reverse.
And Barriere with another missed layup. There's a deep 3.
And
Loose rebound goes back to St. John's. Foul shot no good. Van Sickle pulls it down. (23-12) here. Just under 2 minutes to go in this first quarter from the St. John's Jam tournament. And that's a tough foul as Alex Smith reaches in.
St. John's is going to the bench again.
Well, that's how many fouls? It's got to be at least 2
That's
on Smith, right? Oh, it's 3 they're saying.
That's a 3rd on Smith.
Yeah, not a smart foul there for Mr. Smith. Got to let that go, not reach in like that. Coach Kim is going to have to sub him out now. Schilling's free throw is good. Second one is off the front rim. Good boxing out there by St. John's as Easton Tan's going to go coast to coast. And he gets bumped pretty good. Hopefully he's okay. Looks like he's in a little bit of pain. Maybe got winded there. Looks like he maybe got hit in the right in the stomach. We'll see if it's hopefully just got winded, nothing serious.
They're going to give him some time to recover on his own. And he's going to stay in.
The foul's on Lumley.
Sandu coming back in for Smith. He's got 2 fouls.
Well, you notice there, too, the St. John's coaching staff didn't go on the floor. They gave him a few minutes to see if he recovered. If you come on the floor to take care of an injured player, of course, that player has to sub out.
Unless the team calls a timeout.
Exactly, yeah. Then you'd be forced to take a timeout, yeah.
Knowing that Easton is probably a pretty good free throw shooter, you wanted to leave him in and see if he can shoot these 2.
Of course, you realize you just jinxed him. You
know that. Of course.
You know that.
Always.
All right, 1 and 2 for Mr. Tan. A little full court pressure coming out, 2-2-1. Barriere gets it over center.
What are they doing after the pressure? They are.
Looks like they're staying in a pretty aggressive zone, and thought that might have been a foul there, but the referee is saying he traveled first.
Now you saw the difference there was Tan did not reach in. He took the contact with his body.
He did. He kept his hands up nicely there. You're right. Okay, now it looks like St. John's is going to show a bit of a different look. It's a more traditional 1-3-1 attack against this zone. Ball reverses. Good ball movement there. Open three off the back rim. Nice rebound from Schilling. Little step back, pull up baseline jumper. Tough shot. Offensive rebound. Now 3-ball goes up. It's another air ball from Schilling. But they got another board. And then they go inside and another layup.
And then 3 shots not hitting the rim. Not something you see often in high school, but senior boys basketball.
Not very often. They pulled the hat trick off there. Another good rebound from Schilling.
St. John's caught sleeping again almost in transition.
Now St. John's can go for one shot here. This is Coach Kimman signaling last shot. We got 15 seconds left. Barriere picking up a little bit higher. They don't want to foul here, though.
No. And they just did, but no call.
Got away with it. Oh, and I see that. See, I got to be honest with you. I really dislike the foul call they just made there. Could have called it on the first one. It's a loose ball. 2 players diving for it. I don't think you want to pick up call a foul there when 2 guys are hustling for a loose ball.
You don't. However, the referee might have seen that foul earlier that was not in his location, and then he said, "Oh, we missed that one.
Here's a chance to make it up."
There's enough there so that we should grant him that foul because we didn't call the one earlier.
Very true. All right, with 2.5 seconds to go here, Sandu will try to make this a 13-point game. Oh, pardon me. Sandu goes 2 for 2. Barriere going to need a quick score here. Looks like they're just going to kill the clock. Well, the host school, the St. John's Eagles, couldn't have asked for a better start as they have doubled the Barriere Cougars. They're up 26-13 after 1 quarter.
Well, if we had some shooting percentage numbers here, we would see probably numbers in the low 20s or even below that for the Barriere team.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting because rebounding-wise, Barriere has dominated the glass at both ends of the floor. Their running game has been pretty solid, but they're just taking no advantage of their domination on the glasses. They're probably shooting, as you said, about 20%, and a lot of those have been 2-3 footers in tight, whereas St. John's doing a much better job of finishing inside. They've knocked down a couple threes when Barriere went to the zone. St. John's looking pretty comfortable right now.
And their referees are asking for the horn here. Oh, I think we heard it this time.
Just a great environment. You know, ladies and gentlemen, if you go to varsityletters.ca, that, of course, is the incredible website of Howard Samura, our incredible high school sports reporter here in British Columbia. He's doing stories all the time. He covers BC high school boys basketball better than anybody. Great article in there today on this tournament, on the St. John's Jam tournament, on Coach Kinman starting the program here. Make sure you go to varsityletters.ca and check out all the information as the Barriere Cougars turn it over to start the half. Coast-to-coast pull-up jumper is long from Sandu. Barriere coming back, wide open 3, not taken. Going to penetrate, and he's going to, oh my goodness, and through.
Another missed layup. And St. John's comes back, misses their own layup.
Chen trying to operate out of the high post, nothing there. Sandu's got in the wing. Open 3, lefty, long, and gobbling up the boards is Schilling again. Schilling and Van Sickle just dominating the glass, along with Mitchell. Ball goes inside, and it's turned over. A rough start for Barriere here. 2 turnovers and a missed layup. That's got to be a travel.
Yeah, they got it. They got that one.
Just a little bit out of control there. I think Stephen Lee trying to,
I think he was looking to pass
too much. Yeah,
and then it wasn't there.
All right, subbing in for Barriere, we got Van Sickle coming back in the game along with Ty Hartman. St. John's still showing this 2-2-1.
They're set up on the dead ball. Should be a little more effective this time than after the score. And no, it looked like 4 guys were in it, 1 guy wasn't.
Yeah, it was they just kind of backed up way too passive, and Mitchell takes advantage and finishes the layup. Good news for Barriere. Allen drives.
Oh,
pull up.
the heck is there?
Right over the zone.
That's one of their 6 seniors on the team. And he's been looking to lead this team, trying to get them playing as well as they can this year.
3 ball is long. Another rebound for Barriere. Another missed shot. Another rebound for Barriere. And they make a layup. All right, Kerslake. So the rebounding really keeping the Cougars in the game here.
It's what looks like it's going to be for the rest of this game, is whether or not they can convert on second chances.
Good move inside from Chen, but he can't finish. Barriere looking to run.
Chen's looking tired. He's jogging back.
Oh, beautiful. You're right there. Yeah, he does look tired, as coast-to-coast layup there for Kerslake. Barriere gets it into single digits, down 9, 28-19 here. High post, kick out for an open 3. Got it. Eason Tan. Barriere looking to break the press here. Van Sickle, pull-up jumper long. 2-on-1 here for St. John's. Couldn't quite thread that bounce pass through. Barriere picks it off. That's a good pass, a little behind him, but good catch. And Van Sickle goes to work inside.
Well, they've started off finishing more layups now. Now this is more of an expected game here, as the Barriere forwards, as you've said, are dominating the glass and now finishing.
Layup here if he's got his head up. There it is. And we'll see, but I would say if St. John's maybe turns this over, doesn't get a strong possession here, Coach Kimman might want to think about another timeout. Because you mentioned, too, they are looking a little tired, aren't they?
They've been working really hard. Oh, second chance, not there.
Yeah, they turned it over, and here we go, 2-on-1. Now that was interesting because he wrapped him up. He just kind of grabbed him around the waist and wrapped him up. That sometimes that could be considered an unsportsmanlike foul.
It could have been. They called it before he even shot it.
They did, yeah. That's a break for St. John's, I think.
Yeah, definite break. They just get possession out of bounds, but Eason, he's keeling over almost. He's looking tired. That shot he took to the chest looks like it might be affecting him.
I think you're right. Oh, that's a beautiful move inside there. Little up and under from Mr. Van Sickle, 6-point game.
That's Van Sickle's 8th point of the game now.
He's a nice looking player, and he's long, eh? He's listed at 6'4", but he's very long. All right, another open 3. Way off the mark. Barriere's starting to get way more comfortable now. That's short. But there you go with another rebound. Good tip there from Chen to keep the ball back to St. John's. Tan's going to try his luck.
And draws the foul.
Yeah, good aggressive play. And one thing about Mr. Tan I'm learning, he is all over the floor pretty much all the time. Now, Andrew, you coach the junior team here.
Yeah,
so I'm assuming you get to work probably with these guys a lot too.
I've seen them. Yeah, I've been at maybe 5 or 6 practices this year, and they really, with their lack of size, they really are working on trying to push the ball and be as quick as they can. And they looking like their conditioning though is still not up to par to how they want to play.
Yeah, one thing for sure, if you want to push and run that much, you better be fit. As the band strikes up the music. Oh, almost a steal, but and there it is. You know, St. John's shot the gaps, was very aggressive, forced Barriere to panic a little bit there. 32-25, we're about halfway through the second quarter here in the west side of Vancouver, St. John's Jam tournament. Number 5 Barriere versus number 9, St. John's. Missed shot there from Chen. Van Sickle at the high post. He's going to drive middle. Spinning the key quite a while. Takes a tough spinning air ball, but another rebound. And there's a 3 in and out. And another rebound. Oh, but good hustle by guess who? Mr. Tan on the floor again. And that hustle paid off in not only securing the loose ball, but drawing a foul on Thompson Mitchell.
Fouls are a little more respectable this quarter at only 2-1.
Yeah.
We had a real foul fest that first quarter where we were in penalty 4 minutes into that first quarter. Now we're at 2-1 only, and we're just under 5 minutes to go here in the second.
It looks like Barriere's kind of adjusted the zone a little bit. It looks more like kind of a 1-2-2 zone now.
Yeah, they're really pressuring the ball at the top with it. Or
oh, beautiful pass on the backside, eh?
Oh.
That's a great find as Stephen Lee finishes the wide open layup. Now they're trapping up high, but they get beat. Baseline drive drift to Van Sickle. And that's going to be an offensive foul. Oh, travel.
Yeah, same thing. And Tan is on the ground again.
I think Van Sickle's actually lucky they called the travel there first.
That looked like a charge, too.
Looked
like a charge.
And looks like Coach Repka for Barriere is going to take his first timeout. As his Cougars made a bit of a run, they got it back from 12 to 6, but now they find themselves down 9 points here in this top 10 battle in the 1A division of the BC High School Boys Basketball Association. You know, Andrew, this year in BC High School Hoops history is our 75th anniversary of our first ever tournament. So we're going to have all kinds of celebrations this year at the Langley Event Center honoring the 75-year history of this tournament, starting in 1946 with Vancouver College winning the first ever championship title. There's going to be a banquet, a Hall of Fame presentation, and actually starting next week again at varsityletters.ca, we're going to have the all-time greatest high school team tournament. 64-team draw with teams from the past 75 years. Be lots of people fighting and arguing over whose team is better. I used to have that fight with my father all the time. My dad played on the 1961 McGee Blackshirts, who won a BC title. I was lucky enough 50 years later in 2011 to win it with my RC Palmer squad. And I could never convince him that his team would have had no chance against mine.
Well, you're looking, there's a lot of storied history here, that's for sure. And a lot of alumni support in a lot of these schools. They continue with the program, continue coming to games, watching, following their teams.
Turnover there by St. John's. Easton Tan. Wide open 3. Oh, off the back rim from Alan Pan. Loose rebound, good hustle by St. John's there, and there's going to be a foul. St. John's really doing a good job on all the hustle plays right now. Hartman picks that foul. That's the third team foul on Barriere.
Barriere staying in this 2-3 zone. They get the ball into the high post.
Off the backboard, in and out. And St. John's with another rebound. Floater, no good. Good work inside there. There's great work inside there from both Sandu and from Navi Kak as he finishes. And there's a steal from St. John's. Easton Tan, he's going to make the layup. And just like that is back up to 13 points as the fans here are going wild. Tan slapping the floor with excitement. Another aggressive trap.
Now I wonder if Coach K is going to try to keep this run going here, or if he's thinking about substituting some of his guys that have 2 fouls right now.
Yeah, it's something, those are always tough decisions, but the last thing, you know, if you can avoid, you generally want to get those guys out. You don't want them picking up that third one before the end of the first half.
Because Tan has 2, Sandu has 2, Lee has 2. 3 starters on the floor with 2.
That's going to be a travel. Yeah, it's certainly something you got to think about as we get under the 3-minute mark here. It's a big difference going into the second half with 2 or with 3. We'll see if they can play it out smartly and not pick that foul up. Barriere still extending this zone a little bit.
Yeah, it's more of a 1-2-2.
Yeah, trying to match up almost. Middle drive, and that's a jump ball. There should be a jump ball. Yeah, good call. Good call from the referee there. St. John's will keep it with 14 seconds on the shot clock.
See what zone inbound play they have here.
Going to go to the corner. Cock turns inside, no good. Rebound from Van Sickle, and it goes out of bounds to the Cougars. All right, Lumley reverses it to Jackson. He almost gets trapped. Good ball movement there, and then a forced pass. Got deflected out of bounds. It'll be Barriere ball with 22 seconds on the shot clock as big man Chen is coming back into the game. And also coming in is Tim Chen. Not quite as big.
And there is no relation between the two.
All right. Schilling looking to dribble. He loses control of it. Barriere hustles. 3-point shot is well contested there. Barriere really struck.
And that should be a block. Yeah, it is. 2 shots coming up.
Barriere struggling a bit with their perimeter shooting. Have they made a 3 yet?
No, they have not.
They have, right?
They have not.
Yeah.
And they have attempted at least 10, I'd say.
I would say so. First free throw is no good from Alan Pan. And that was Hartman's 3rd foul. Probably going to need to get him out, I would think. Well, this coach is going to take a chance and leave him in.
Oh, they're daring him to shoot the 3.
They really, really are. They're just daring him. You're right. And that ball's going to go to Barriere.
Well, it's actually off Barriere. St. John's gets that one.
Ah, fair enough. Forced pass inside there. Barriere steals it. Schilling's got the ball. He's going to drive middle. Nice step through. That's a blocking foul. Foul's going to go on Satyam Goyal. And Barriere not scored for a while here. They got a chance to get a couple easy ones from the foul line here. First one is good. Makes them both. All right, Barriere hanging tough, down 12. A minute 15 to go. Alan Pan will set the St. John's zone offense. They go inside, high-low, another turnover.
They keep trying to force that pass into the
high
post.
High post. You're right. You're right.
It's
Andrew.
not there.
Is that a travel or is that a foul?
That's an offensive foul.
Okay.
Player was out of control there.
It's going to be on Schilling.
It looks.
Well, that's 3 consecutive turnovers for St. John's. And Coach Kim is going to take a timeout and try to settle his team down for the last minute here. If If Barriere's able to, they probably want to try to drop some sort of 2-for-1 opportunity here, get a quick shot up, make sure they get the last shot as well.
Looks like it. They'll get the shot clock at 30. It's still sitting at 18. So yes, you're right. 2-for-1 opportunity to get a quick shot in, and if they miss, either pick up the offensive rebound or get that second shot after. As we're here in the timeout, got to hand it a note here that we have a shout out to Alan Moore, who is watching in China.
Nice. Alan, welcome. You know, it's interesting. I've done a lot of these broadcasts, and Choyle Brown, who's our producer for Sports Canada, I always check with him after a number of hits and things like that. And usually there's quite a large number. And after, of course, when they archive it, the kids all want to watch it. But it's always amazing to me the unique country views he's able to tell me about. And I mean, I can remember doing some games where, you know, there was like someone from Mozambique watched the game, or, you know, you just never know, you know, where family is or friends are or who's watching. It's really quite remarkable.
Yeah, people have relatives all over the world, and they just happen to tune in.
Oh, Wade open down the baseline. High post is open. Going to turn. Good defense there from,
did he get that ball get tipped?
It must have, otherwise it would have been a double dribble as Van Sickle finishes the offensive board. All right, St. John's can now hold for one. Hopefully we'll see if they don't turn it over, because they have turned over 3 in a row here. As you said, trying to force the high post. Skip pass.
Penetrates the gap. And they get it called on a foul. He's going to the line.
That's a good break for the Eagles. Coach Kenman, though, not really happy about that. Didn't want them initiating that play that early, because it's going to give Barriere another chance at a score. First one rims out. Side tries the second one. It's also out. Well, a chance for Barriere to cut it into single digits here with 8 seconds.
And
that's a tough pass and
real tough
not a great decision. Can St. John's get one off?
No, after the buzzer.
Yeah. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Fairly exciting first half. St. John's got up a little bit early, and they've managed to maintain this double-digit cushion. Barriere closed it to within 6, but couldn't get any closer. As we go into halftime now, St. John's Eagles 39, and the Barriere Cougars from the Okanagan area, I believe about 60 kilometers out of Kamloops, if I'm not mistaken, is where Barriere's from.
Yeah, that's what I was talking. The coach came in here earlier. The coach from Barriere said he actually lives in Kamloops, and a lot of their teaching staff is there. And they get kids.
And Barriere sitting at 29, down 10 points as this battle between the number 9 single A team and the number 5 single A team will continue into the second half. Thank you for joining us here for the Baden Game of the Week. We will be back with you in about 8 or 9 minutes for the call of the second half. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back here live. Baden game of the week at St. John's International School on the west side of Vancouver. Your St. John's Eagles 39, Barriere Cougars 29. And Andrew, you got some halftime stats for us there.
We got a little bit here. We've got, for Barriere, we got the leading scorer, Van Sickle, has 10. And Cameron Kerslake with 8. They're the 2 leading scorers for Barriere. But more importantly for Barriere, Cash Lumley has 4 personal fouls.
Yeah, not a good spot to be in. And you see Coach showing no fear. Kept him in the game, hoping he wouldn't pick it up, but he did. So he's going to have to sit for a while now.
Yep. For St. John's, Eason Tan has 11. Alan Pan with 9 and Martin Chen with 8. All of 8 points for Chen came in the first quarter. He was held scoreless in the second quarter.
Yeah, I'd like to see St. John's try to get him back involved because he was doing a very nice job inside. His Barriere goes inside early, kick it out. Shot fake on the 3. They have struggled with a 3 all game. We actually, I'd said they hadn't hit one, but Andrews pointed out to me they did have one early. But that's it for them from the 3-point line. Good hustle from both teams. That's going to be a jump ball, which will go to the Eagles.
Jump ball will be Eagles ball.
Now, is this a quarterfinal or is this a semifinal?
This would be a quarterfinal. It's a 12 team.
Because it's 12, right?
It's a 12-team tournament. So there were 4 games yesterday, and they had the teams that were coming from out of town got to play their first game today. Really.
Right. Save them some money, of course. Yeah.
Except for Notre Dame, who's come all the way from Saskatchewan, and they brought a high school team in, and they are a very formidable squad. Notre Dame is. They have a prep program at that school, but this is their actual high school team.
Okay.
But they don't play in a league. They play an invitational exhibition schedule only for the year. So they've been in tournaments in Manitoba and Ontario. And they were able to fill a spot in this tournament that was vacated when Stratford Hall dropped out a couple weeks before the tournament.
Okay. Always good to have out of problem. Great steal by Mr. Hustle there. Eason Tan all over the court, and he picks up the steal and a layup.
That's his 13th
And there's
point.
another one. And you know he's going to the rack with that one to end to the left hand.
And that puts him at 15 points now for the game.
Back-to-back steal and layups. And there's another steal. This could be an early timeout, and that's going to be a block, right? Oh, he's going to give him the charge.
Oh, I thought that was a block, too.
Yeah, I got to agree with you. I thought it was.
But it was nice to see Chen step into the passing lane there. And
yeah, this is a huge momentum shift here. That would have been 3 steals and baskets in a row.
See what happens here. Barriere's now set up.
Got to try to break it in the middle there. There's a nice step-through drive there from Kerslake. A little hesitation and finish strong. Just what Barriere needed. And they're staying in their 1-2-2 zone. There's a 3-ball, in and out. And again, the hustle, just so impressed with Mr. Tan's hustle. And that was a phenomenal block right there.
Pinned it against the backboard. It was below the rim, no problem. And they get it inside, though. St. John's still with hustle, getting to every loose ball here to start the second half.
Every loose ball, every loose turnover, St. John's all over it. You're going to win a lot of games when you got guys willing to put their bodies on the line like that. Okay, that foul is on number 4, Stephen Lee, and that's his 3rd foul. So he'll come out as Alex Smith will come back. I think Alex has 3 as well, does he not?
He does.
Okay. All right, Hartman gives it back to Van Sickle. Van Sickle looking to penetrate. He gets there. It's going to go off him out of bounds. I really like what Van Sickle shows, but one thing he'll need to add to his game just to make him a bit more, he's got to be a bit more consistent, be able to hit the outside shot. He's been very reluctant today, and so St. John's backing off of him, and it's making it hard for him to drive because they don't respect that shot right now. Good ball movement there from St. John's.
You wonder how much of the struggles the Barriere is having shooting the ball has to this home crowd advantage that St. John's has.
Oh, yeah, it's a really good point, Andrew. I mean, it's not something that they're going to be used to playing against 100%. And there's a missed three, and that's going to be an over-the-back foul on Van Sickle. And that is his second foul, third foul. A little bit of foul trouble here for the Cougars.
St. John's has definitely substituted more during this game.
Yeah, they certainly seem to have a deeper bench, that's for sure. St. John's running a bit of an overload here on the left side. Three ball, that's a bit forced, that one.
He still had enough time on the shot clock.
And there's a quick three on the offensive board. Nice rebound there from Schilling, but he gets fouled on the rebound. And
I guess he got hit on that outlet pass.
Fouls on Sandu. Subbing in for the Eagles is Navi Koch. And St. John's staying in this 2-2-1. They had some success right at the start of this quarter, turning Barriere over. Not that time. Skip pass right on the other side, but he throws it out of bounds. So even though it didn't turn it over initially, once they broke it, bad pass turnover back to St. John's. 14-point lead here for St. John's. They got a chance here to do some damage here and get this up.
They're putting the guard in the short corner, and it's well below. They're extending the zone even further out.
Yeah, they are. And there you go. Easton Tan coming through big time in this third quarter with his hustle, with his steals, and his offense. That's 8 points. Around the back and a beautiful dish. That's an N1. Count it.
Smith fouled him. Is that what? If they called that last foul on him, that would be his fifth.
Yeah. Yeah, that foul is going to be on Smith. I think that's his fourth, right? Yeah,
that's his fourth. Missed who had the last St. John's foul.
And Smith, again, he at only 5'9", he's not really a shot blocker, so he's got to let the 6-foot Schilling go there, not try to block that shot. As the free throw is missed, but that's going to be a lane violation.
Yeah, Black had 4 rebounders in there.
Yeah, that's just lack of concentration there from the Eagles. So Mr. Hartman going to get a freebie here. And he takes advantage. Martin Chen will come back into the game for Tim Chen.
And it's looking like they're going to go half court here, 1-2-2.
Yeah, or maybe almost 1-3-1. Yeah, 1-2-2. Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
maybe.
Here they come.
Looking for a trap now. No.
But they really have extended it. There's a good steal there. Van Sickle reads that. 2-on-1. Give it back to him, but he turned it over. That's a bad one for the Cougars. But St. John's obliges and gives it back to them. Both teams need to settle down a little bit here. Too many turnovers. That's going to be a bumping foul.
And we're in penalty already.
Yeah, it's like we talked about in the beginning of the game. St. John's got in early foul trouble, and now for the rest of the game, Barriere is going to be shooting. 2 shots here for Kerslake.
Still a double-digit lead here for St. John's. Barriere seems content to play this 1-2-2 extended high.
Good defense there from Schilling as he goes straight up, making that a tough shot for Chen. 2-on-1 here, right to the rack. Nice move there from Kerslake. Goes around his back and gets to the hoop. Barriere hanging around here. And it's going to be another 2-on-1.
This third quarter is playing much like the first quarter.
Yes, they seem to have more energy going up and down the floor, that's for sure. Oh, in and out layup for Chen. Well, Barriere once again in a position where they can get this back to single digits on this possession. Pull-up jumper from the foul line, it's good. Schilling knocks it down, and Kinman's seen enough. He's going to take a timeout. As Barriere, after surviving an initial turnover rush where they got down 14, I believe it should be 40. Yeah, there it is, 48-39 now. They've cut it to 9 points.
I think the St. John's is going to switch up their defense a little bit. And we could probably talk about transition defense again as Barriere's looking to fast break. They had a couple easy layups.
Do you think Coach Penn might look to go man-to-man now or maybe switch up his zone?
I'm thinking might go right straight back to man here. Barriere's in the 1-2-2. Do you think they're going to change up there, or do you think they're going to stay in it?
I think they're likely going to stay in it. They're forcing a lot of outside shots, a lot of contested threes. I mean, their biggest problem has been the turnovers, right? That's where St. John's, it's a tough choice for them. Because when they've extended the defense and pressed a bit, they've got some good stuff out of it. But now, as you've noticed in the half court, Barriere's starting to get more comfortable in beating them. Although a lot of the stuff they've done has been in transition. So, okay, so it looks like for St. John's, we got Tan, and we got Pan, and we got Chen, Kak, and in the corner over here, if I ever get his number,
Tim
just took
Chen.
the shot. Thank you, Tim Chen. There you go. And he knocks down a baseline jumper right out of the timeout.
And they're staying in.
Yeah, they're going to stay in it.
2-2-1. Oh, turnover.
Yeah, a little sloppy handle there from Kerslake. Another baseline jumper, back-to-back, in and out. Good rebound from Martin Chen, but he dropped it out of bounds. There's a trap.
They got it. And they're going to call a foul, trying to dribble through that.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting. I'm not always a big fan of those types of calls. I look at it, the player put himself in a bad spot to get trapped, tried to force a dribble through. There was minimal contact, but I don't know. I just don't like to see players rewarded for bad decisions like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, he's not pivoting the pivot away, or he's not dribbling out of it. He's trying to go somewhere where he can't go, and then he gets rewarded.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that. But nevertheless, Schilling is going to make one of his 2 free throws. We got a 10-point game here, just under 4 minutes to go. Collapsing on the high post there to Chen. Easton Tan, another 3. It's off the back rim. Nice big rebound there from Van Sickle. He got up high for that one.
Van Sickle continues to carry this Barriere team as Lumley stays on the bench with 4 fouls. Be interesting to see when they're going to put him back in. But another needless foul by St. John's.
Yeah, just a very sloppy closeout there from Alan Pan. Going to not only give him 2 shots, but stop the clock at the same time. Barriere not really taking advantage of. They're pretty much going 1 for 2 from the line almost every time.
It looks like they are shooting just about 50% for the game.
All right, Armand Sandhu going to come in.
Now it's a 1-3-1 look.
As Tan will set the offense. Skip pass to the corner, reverse it. Other side, 3 ball, count it.
Tim
and
Chen.
It looks like Tim Chen heating up a little bit from that baseline.
There's the trap.
Yeah, you don't want to put the ball there. They got lucky. That's a beautiful spin move, but he couldn't finish. Got to use his left hand there.
Chen open again in the corner.
Yeah.
They're leaving him alone.
Find him again. Well, and St. John's really spreading the offense with the 4 out here. As Chen struggling to finish there. Nice deep look. That's a great pass. Great pass and good finish from Van Sickle.
And there's a choice again. Either Pan or Chen will be open.
Yeah, they're just spreading 4 out, moving it around the perimeter. Chan working hard inside. Out of control. Good block shot. Great defense there from Schilling as he gets the standing block. Baseline sweep from Mitchell. Nothing there. There's a backdoor cut. Kick out for 3. And that's a timely 3 as Schilling knocks down the 3 to cut it to their closest they've been since the second quarter. 53-46. Martin Chen gets fouled and one. Nice response there from the big fella.
There was no hesitation by him on that time. He just took the ball and went as soon as he got it. A couple other times he's got the ball in there. He hesitated what he was going to do.
And I see that Navi Kak is going to come in for Chen. I think that's a good sub. You can see him breathing very heavy at the foul line right now. Get him the last 2-minute rest here in between the quarter, I think. And he completes the 3-point play. He's going to come out and get a rest.
And he's going to use the quarter time rest to get a little bit extra.
Absolutely.
Probably going to come out fresh for the 4th. We got the trap again. Oh, he's able to pass out of it.
A little out of control there from Van Sickle. Good no call by the officials, I thought. Ball was tipped, so no over and back there. Corner 3, it's way short. Schilling rebounds it. Oh, sorry, check that. Yeah, Schilling. Tyson Schilling. He's going to go to the rack. Good job of forcing the contact. He'll earn 2 free throws. A foul is going to be on Navi Kak.
Barriere continues to have an effective fast break here in the 3rd quarter. They're going to look to keep pushing the ball when we get to the 4th, as they're going to be down. They still want to get quick shots.
And they finally make both free throws back-to-back now, cutting it to 8.
1 minute remaining in the 3rd quarter.
St. John's with quite a few subs in the game right now, mostly due to their foul trouble. Sandhu passes it to, and that's going to be a foul. They're not going to count that. They're going to say that was before.
And now he's cramped up. Tan's on the ground.
Tan is down on the ground again, and looks like they're going to try to work out a cramp. And that's only the 4th team foul, so it won't be a shooting foul. Yeah, better get him out of there and get him some salt tablets and some water, because he's still got another quarter to play.
So you were mentioning earlier that, in your Father's Day in your early days, what do you think players were drinking 75 years ago?
Yeah. Probably Coke.
Sure wasn't electrolyte filled.
No, that's for sure. Vitamin glacial water, that's for sure. I was going through the archives for some of this work we're doing for the 75th, and I don't know what year it was. I want to say maybe like the early 50s. A picture of the championship coach after the game. His team's got him all up, and he's got a cigarette in his mouth. I don't think you'd see that nowadays. That shot is short.
And
all right, more or less one shot time here for Barriere. There's only a few, so they're going to take a deep 3 instead. Not liking that shot too much, but they did come down with the offensive rebound.
Looked like it was a good box out from St. John's, but the ball just landed where it needed for Barriere, and had a good chance there.
They did, but they're going to give St. John's a chance to get a shot off. And there it is, layup at the buzzer. Yeah, just a bit of a strategic mistake there from Barriere. They should have come out of that quarter down only 8 with the chance to make it 6 or 5, but the early shot cost them, and St. John's with another hustle play, saving the ball out of bounds on the rebound, keeps their lead at 10 as we head into what's looking like a pretty exciting fourth quarter.
Now, your experience as a high school and college coach in that situation, how aware do you think players are of the clock and what they're trying to do there in the last minute without having a timeout or the coach is talking about it before?
Trying not to be too cynical. I'm not sure how aware players, it depends on your players, but ultimately I really do think that, especially at the high school level, it's kind of my job as the coach to make them aware, or at least try to make them, and and the thing is, like, you see a lot of times, okay guys, one shot, but okay, so you're asking your team to wait for one shot, but have you practiced that? Have you said, okay, at 9 we're going to run this set, or you have to actually practice it as well.
Yeah, and with the way basketball is now with FIBA rules, where you can't call a timeout on a live ball unless you practiced it. You can't use that timeout during the play in order to set something up. It's a lot different than the NCAA or NBA.
It's a lot different. In our rules, the players are really forced to have to make more decisions, which I think is a good thing. But as coaches, we have to try to help them how to make those correct decisions. And, it's not that easy, that's for sure. Okay, St. John's with the ball to start. Chen at the high post. He's double teamed, kicks it out to the wing to Lee. Back to Sandu. Corner 3, Mr. Chen. This time he comes up empty. And here comes Barriere, Tanner Schilling, and that's going to be a foul. Ooh, I don't know. That was
close, but he was starting his layup from the free throw line. I don't know.
We're going to say no basket, but there's St. John's picking up a foul after only 20 seconds.
And again, it was in transition.
Shot fake drive, nothing there. Good defense from St. John's, and a forced pass there from Van Sickle. Here comes St. John's in transition. No good off the glass. Good rebound there from Tanner Schilling. He's going to go deep, and there's just great hustle again from St. John's. As Tim Chen, but then they give it back. Bit of a comedy of errors here. Baseline drive, nice little up and under move there. Solid footwork from Tyson Schilling.
He's really stepped up in this second half. He's played this entire half. He's knocked down a 3, a lot of rebounds.
Good body control and good footwork too. There's that corner 3 again. Chen decides to drive baseline and take a really tough layup, but they get the loose ball.
Wonder how long St. John's is going to go without getting Tan back in the game, if he can come back. He had that cramp with a minute to go in the third.
Yeah, I'm sure they've been working on it. The unfortunate thing with cramps is you can work on it, get back in, and after a couple minutes it can happen again. So I had a game many years ago in the Lower Mainland Championship game. When I was at Palmer, we were playing Vancouver College. That was their, with Phil Scrubb and Trasolini, like an amazing team. And my point guard, who was my best player.
Oh, and speaking of, there's Tan back in the game.
He started cramping up with like 3 minutes to go in the game, and I actually called 4 timeouts. Because back then they carried over. I had 5 left.
You had the NCAA.
I had to call 4 in a row just to make sure I could get him back in the game. As Tyson Schilling comes back to make an 8-point game with a layup. Quick 3. Rebounded by Barriere. Not sure that was a good shot there for St. John's that early in the shot clock.
As again, we've talked about, you have to practice what you're going to do here on the stretch, and it looks like in the fourth quarter there's no hesitation from St. John's to try to run the shot clock down to under 10 at all.
And there's a turnover right away early in the shot clock as well. Subbing into the game is Cash Lumley. Haven't seen him for a while. All right, Barriere can cut it again here. Now you notice too, St. John's press is a lot more passive now, isn't it?
It is. Not giving up the easy score, and they're going to go man-to-man out of the pressure.
Yes, sir.
think that was a good no call.
Yeah, good no call. Armin Sandu, Tan drives, comes back to the high post of Sandu, knocks it down. Cash Lumley turns it over. Good hustle there from Stephen Lee to pick up that loose ball. High post to Sandu. 3 ball, in and out. Nice rebound there using his length as Van Sickle. Tanner Schilling reverses it to Lumley. Lumley goes inside and Lumley turns it over again. By the same guy, by the way, Stephen Lee, and he gets fouled. Stephen Lee showing some good defensive intensity, getting back-to-back steals here.
And it looks like Five's coming back in with strict instructions from the coaching staff, Alex Smith, not to pick up his 5th foul.
Yeah, he's had a bit of a rough night with foul trouble. Hasn't got a ton of time. See if he can avoid it. Back rim on that first free throw. Second one is good from Stephen Lee. Lumley, I'm sorry, Kerslake.
3-second call.
Yeah, 3 in the key. Or is it a referee's talking to him? Maybe he might have made a comment there. The referee letting him know that he needs to be quiet.
Well, no one wanted to shoot the ball there for Barriere, and
they got stuck in the key looking for the rebound that never came. Oh, little trap in the corner now. And that's gonna, jump ball's gonna go. Now, am I wrong? I thought that that should be Barriere ball.
Yeah, it should not.
Yeah, the possession arrow is incorrect. The referees have it right, though. It's Barriere ball. Referees just checking on the possession arrow.
No.
That's why I'm not reporting anything.
Just checking with the refs whether there was a foul on the previous play. So it's going to be Barriere ball. So the next possession will be St. John's. All right, looking to break this little half court. They do. Van Sickle gives it back to Kerslake. Open 3, shot fake, no good. And then he tries his luck and he hits it. Nice little shot fake from Lumley, got Chen to fly by, and then he knocks a 3 down, and they're knocking on the door again, back to 8 points.
See if they can get it to the 2-possession game.
There's a trap, there's a trap.
They got to keep it out of the corner now. And,
See, I gotta be honest, I hate that call. I just hate it. You got a guy with his head down dribbling out of control into a trap, almost no contact, very minimal, and I just don't like it. You can't reward that. But that foul's going to go on Schilling, Tyson Schilling. Martin, nice rebound. And he can't finish, though. It is tough for him going against the kind of length he sees from, Van Sickle and Schilling. And Van Sickle's going to go coast to coast. Beautiful. And this is as close as they've been in a long time.
And St. John's now is going to have to keep it out of the corner, unlike in the third quarter where they were doing a 1-2-2 and lower 1-3-1, letting that shot happen.
Yeah,
They're now aggressively.
Barriere's made a good adjustment, and they're looking to trap it now, absolutely. And it looks like Martin Chen is going to take a rest. He is struggling a bit inside. Okay, they can get as close as they've been since the start of the game here. Transition, coast to coast, misses the layup. Easton Tan, get under control, young man. Get under control. Yeah, Easton was out of control. Nicely timed block there from Van Sickle. Again, St. John's just more or less backing up in this trap, not being too aggressive. This is another open three, but Lumley decides not to take it this time. And a little runner inside from Hartman. And it's now a 4-point game with 5 minutes to go.
And almost an over and back.
Almost there, yes. St. John's, I think, is just getting a little too tentative right now. They need to get back to attacking, especially on defense. One dribble inside. He's going to have to go over top. Great defense there. Van Sickle doing an awesome job of going straight up on defense. That's a tough shot, but great hustle to get his own rebound. Nice step through. And the comeback is on. They're down 2 now.
So Barriere weathered the storm here, and St. John's needs some life. They can't have another empty trip.
Baseline drive, short. And the problem for St. John's now is they're getting no second shots, right? Barriere and coast to coast again. Oh my, we have a tie game, baby. And Coach Kinman, it's a tough spot for him because he's only got the 2 timeouts left. So I think he's reluctant to use one right now.
See if he gets Chen back in the game here. Needs the big man back, I think.
You're right. I mean, he was struggling, but they need him back. And they got to settle down here. They're just panicking. That's a flop. That's a flop. Good no call from the ref there.
But then they get a foul on the rebound.
Yeah. Yeah. Schilling misses, picks up the over-the-back foul. We got a tie game here. St. John's Jam, this is the bottom game of the week. Couldn't ask for a better game between 2 top 10 single-A ranked squads here. The fans are trying to encourage them. There's lots of noise. High post. That's a good shot, but they couldn't make it.
No follow through.
And I'm not keeping track. We don't have stats, but I'm guessing that's at least Van Sickle's 10th defensive rebound. He's just been eating the glass down there.
Foul number 13 on Sandu.
And here comes, as you discussed, here comes Mr. Chen back in the game. Coming in for Alex Smith. It's going to give him a lot more size now.
And that was Sandu's 4th foul, too.
Okay. All right, there's the aggressive trap that St. John's needs. Chen's going to go to the rack. What are we going to call?
A block, and that's a 5th.
Oh, wow. That is a huge momentum shift. That was close there. That could have gone either way. Coach Repka not happy that Kerslake is now fouled out with 5 fouls.
Again.
Gotta let the referees know that that's the 5th foul.
Number 10, Cameron Kerslake is fouled in the game.
Okay, well, Chen has a chance to reinstate a lead here for St. John's. 2 shots in the foul line. And St. John's will be shooting the rest of the quarter, as that is 5 team fouls now, and it's good. You can hear the fans. Looks like Coach Repka wanting a timeout here. And that will be his first timeout. Now in the FIBA rules, of course, you get 3 timeouts in the second half, but if you don't use one of them before the 2-minute mark, you lose it. So he's going to use that timeout. So both teams will have 2 left. We got a 65-63 game here.
We've got 1 foul to give still for St. John's.
I'd like to see, out of this timeout, I'd really like to see St. John's, especially with that foul to give right now. I mean, they don't want to pick it up, but I'd like to see them be super aggressive in their trap.
Yeah, either go with really try for that steal on that second pass, or come out with a different look, maybe pressure in a different way here.
Yeah, absolutely, because they've had trouble with it, and they've kind of backed off it a bit. Maybe coming out of this timeout, surprise them a little bit, and really go after him, see if you can get a turnover right now.
And so, Barriere is going to look to get the ball into number 6 or number 14.
Absolutely.
They've been carrying them here this second half. They're set up for a press break.
And it looks like they're going to stay in there 2-2-1. See if they maybe extend it a little bit and look to trap a little earlier.
And the crowd is into it once again.
Love it. Love it. Oh, they went for the steal and almost got it. Oh, that's a tough three. It's good. Oh, my. Oh, my. Cash Lumley corner three, and that's their first lead since the first quarter.
It was a knuckleball.
That it was. Middle drive, nice jump stop, but he turns it over.
Oh, no left hand.
No, I think he thought he got hit, but now it's a 2-on-1. Oh, they missed the wide open layup. Hartman couldn't make it. Back comes St. John's. Tam out of control, but he's going to get a foul. And he's going to earn 2 free throws. The fans all standing now, going crazy.
When Tan puts his head down, you know he's going to the rim.
You pretty much can predict that, absolutely. As Thompson Mitchell will sub in for Ty Hartman. And Eason Tan got a chance to get the lead here as St. John's is down 1 point. Now, I'm just curious, the St. John's fans are making noise when Tam is shooting? Is that, do they just not know?
I don't know.
The little kids over there, they're all hammering. It's like, guys, you only do that when the other team shoots. Maybe it'll help them.
It did. It
All right,
did.
tie game, 66-66. That's the guy you want.
Yeah.
That's the guy you want if you're Barriere, right to the rack.
Well, you sure picked a good one for the modern game of the week this week.
Awesome. I'm so glad I made it out. Chen misses the layup. Don't foul, young man. No call there.
No call both ways.
And
No call there.
No call there. Bodies everywhere. We got Tam down. He might have hit his head. At center here, we got Schilling down. He might have hit his head. Bodies everywhere. Carnage on the court.
Well, as you know, you've been in a lot of these games. Pressure gets to everybody.
It does. Well, you know, it's interesting that the play here at center, I actually think probably was a good no call because the player was straight up and they just kind of hit at an awkward angle. I thought down there that that Tan had maybe earned the foul call, but again, he was a little bit out of control too. So now this will be big for both teams to see if Schilling and Tan are able to go because they're pretty critical players for them.
Yeah, both are going to have to come out of the game here.
Yeah, absolutely. I hope they're okay. I think they are, but anytime there's potential for, hitting the head, you got to make sure you treat that with caution. As Schilling gets up slowly, he looks a little out of it as he's got 2 people attending with him. Tan is still down. Okay, so they got to bring him out here. Coach has to sub him out. Coach is trying to keep him in, but he can't.
Tan does look like he hit his head.
And
He's going back in the dressing room.
Dressing room now. They have to sub. They have to sub Schilling out.
And that's what the referee is talking to the player right now.
St. John's has made a sub. Alex Smith has come in. They have to sub out Schilling, and here comes a sub for him.
Yeah.
Come up the middle, young man. It looks like Mackenzie Jackson is going to sub in.
2 minutes and 8 seconds remaining in the game.
Someone should explain that with the coach, too, that he has to come.
Well, now they're keeping him in. No, they can't keep him in.
They can't keep him in the game.
They can't keep him in the game.
I don't know what's happening here. Coach Kinman should be right at that.
Coach Kinman should be all over that. They cannot keep him in the game. They attended him to him on the floor. Wow. Okay, well, they're going to play on, so that's a big break for Barriere, being able to keep him in. Okay, there's a trap. Nice fake out of the trap. He's going to go to the rack. There's a layup. And one.
And we're under 2 minutes.
Oh, my. Beautifully broken on that press. Hartman gets the harm and the foul. And this is the largest lead that Barriere's ever seen today. They've never been ahead by more than 1 or 2, and that was early. And now they've got it up to 5. And now we got a sub here. And I'm not sure who's coming in for who, but he's standing there. I don't know what we're doing. Okay, Jackson is going to now come in for Schilling.
She looks like they're going to do a little concussion test.
Yeah, well, they really had to get him out before. That really is a bad error, to be honest with you. Okay, the fans going crazy. See how Hartman handles this. I can barely hear myself. And he misses.
And they get the rebound.
Okay, it's still a ton of time left here. But missing 10 is going to be tough for the Eagles. Drive.
Nice
There's
pass.
an open three. No good. Smith corrals the rebound. New shot clock. Smith drives baseline. Baseline drift. Chan. No good. And there is Mr. Van Sickle with about his 15th defensive board.
He's
All right.
certainly cleaning it up.
Now they got to take care of the ball here.
You can't hear anything in this gym.
Coach Repka screaming, use the clock, but nobody can hear him. And what do we got, a foul? We do. And that's going to be bonus.
And that's going to be 5th foul on Smith.
Alex Smith with a foul.
And you're right, Mr. Smith will foul out of the game. And we got 2 free throws for Thompson Mitchell. I don't think he's been to the line yet, if my memory serves me correctly. We'll see how he handles this pressure.
He went 1 for 2 in the first quarter.
1 for 2, okay. Ooh, that wasn't even close, that one. Come on, young man, deep breath, deep breath. Block it out.
Yeah.
I love it, look at the noise. Ooh.
Oh, not close on both of them.
Okay. That's a bunch of missed free throws now. Martin Chen's going to try to drive. There's a 3, no fake, drive. Corner 3, middle drive, left hand. Oh, he just got rid of it before he traveled. And there's a good steal there.
Nice play.
Hartman, he's going to go coast to coast. No good. Good rebound there from who else but Van Sickle, but he turned it over.
Got stripped from behind.
Right to the rack. That's a foul. That's a foul. Yeah, 100%. Coach Kinner wants it to be unsportsmanlike, but it was just a sloppy foul. It wasn't unsportsmanlike, so it'll just be regular 2 shots.
I think they could hear him now. When
I think he said use the clock on offense. Okay. Oh, this is awesome.
Both teams are shooting. They're in penalty. No problem here. Well, if he hits both, they got no problem. They're probably not going to look to foul.
Yeah, I think all he's going to do is make 1 here, and they don't need to foul. If he misses both, then you got to think about fouling. And, I mean, clearly I think you'd probably want to foul Thompson Mitchell, who just missed those 2 pretty badly.
Absolutely. That's the guy you want to go after.
No good. Oh, wait a minute. What do we got here? What do we got here? Is that a violation? Oh, no. Oh, no. Tanner Schilling walked below the foul line, or below the top of the key.
Walked as he was shooting.
Man, personally, that's not a call that I think you ever make, because it doesn't disconcert the shooter in the slightest way.
Yeah, by the book.
By the book, you can call it. I'm just saying, I think you might want to look the other way on that one, right?
A lot of times it's not there, but if you don't know if the shooter might have just looked at him at the corner of his eye.
And Schilling's got to be smarter than that too, right?
Timeout. Timeout.
Timeout. Coach Repka, 70-68. He takes full advantage of the lane violation. So now, what do we have? 47 seconds left. Now, here's the thing. They have the choice now of advancing the ball or keeping it under the hoop. Now, if they advance it, though, the shot clock goes to 18. So I think you have to inbound it under your hoop. Now that puts St. John's has to make a decision. And I think with 47 seconds to go, you play out the possession. I don't think you foul. What do you think on that?
I totally agree with you. I think they should inbound the ball right in the back court. You have the whole 30-second shot clock, so that would get St. John's at most 20 seconds left if they were to miss. But the way the Barriere's been rebounding, they can shoot the ball and pick up that offensive rebound. And in the timeout, hopefully they're talking about if you get an offensive rebound, you get a new clock, and then you don't have to shoot
then
again.
Then you got to bring it out, yeah. But I don't know. I tell you what, with this crowd, I think St. John's, if they have to foul, should feel pretty confident that it's going to be tough for Barriere to make any free throws. Okay, so yeah, smart move by coach, taking it on the end line. Van Sickle can, of course, run the baseline here.
They've manned up. St. John's going man-to-man.
And they're going to double team the first pass, it looks like, with number 2. Okay, now don't foul
He
yet.
doesn't get here. There's
a
the trap.
Okay, so now Barriere's going to use some time. Now, you don't want to foul now.
No.
If you're St. John's. I think I'd want the ball in Schilling's hands if I was Barriere.
Good closeout.
5 on the shot clock. No good. Okay, 20 seconds to go. Live ball, St. John's. Right to the hoop, and that's a foul. Count the basket. Oh, my. Are you kidding me?
Crowd goes nuts.
Oh. And Van Sickle can't believe they called that foul. And I don't know, is that his 5th? He's acting.
Is that foul?
He's acting like it's his 5th. Let's find out.
That's his 5th. That is his 5th.
I think that's his 5th. Wow. Now, again, Van Sickle's done such a good job all game of staying straight up and being vertical. Now, on that particular play, I thought he did a pretty good job of staying vertical again. He's done it all game, but the referee felt that he committed the body foul. And so not only is that huge because St. John's has a chance to get the lead, but now Van Sickle's out of the game.
That's a big blow.
That's a tough break because he was pretty vertical on that, I thought. But he did turn a little bit.
If the referee had a good angle, you have to remember that defender in transition, that defender has to have both feet on the ground facing the ball handler before they can establish legal guarding position. So did he come in? Was he already in the key waiting for that drive?
Yeah, it was tough to tell.
Or was he running side by side the whole time?
Yeah, it was tough to tell. He's done such a good job of being vertical all game. I thought he was, but also too, it's just I don't want to see him foul out because he's such a good player.
Exactly.
But here you go. Okay, so Coach Repka's going to have a timeout if he makes this. If he doesn't make it, all hell's going to break loose, I think. All right, here we go. Stephen Lee, count it!
Timeout!
Okay. Stephen Lee with a three-point play, 71-70, St. John's Eagles. Coach Repka's taking his last timeout. He's going to definitely advance the ball to the front court here. Got a lot of. I think you want to advance. You don't want to risk a trap or anything like that, right? And now, if you're Coach Kenman, you think they're going to go back to man like they did last possession?
I think they have to match up here.
I think so too.
They can't let an open shot happen.
No, you got to go
zone.
man, and you got to switch. You got to switch all those ball screens that are going to happen if the ball screens happen. Now, if you're Barriere, really at this point, who do you go to? You've only got Tyson Schilling left, really.
Yeah,
to go to at this point.
Yeah, because Lumley is also fouled out.
Yeah, I mean, I think at this point, I mean, I want the ball in his hands for sure.
It'll be interesting where Schilling gets it.
I almost wonder if they're just going to maybe get him the ball and go to some sort of isolation. I mean, that's probably what I would do. Or they're going to set some sort of screen for him here.
They're going to go small. No, they're going to go.
Okay, referee
trying to figure out what St. John's is doing here. It looks like they're in zone.
It does.
Yeah, they are.
Where Martin Chen is playing,
they are in zone.
They're in zone.
They are.
But we'll see if maybe they're just disguising it and then they're going to match up. But I think you're right. I'd double Schilling is what I'd do.
Don't let him take that last shot. Yeah, they switched on it.
They did. There's a pass almost stolen. 3. It's good.
Timeout.
It's good. Oh my God. Thompson Mitchell, the guy who so badly missed those 2 free throws, steps up and hits the most unlikely of threes. Wow, this is phenomenal.
And St. John's now has the ball with 8 seconds remaining to tie or win the game with a made shot.
Now, Do you go for the win? Do you go for the tie?
Well, with all the foul trouble that Barriere is in,
Yeah.
if they can get a 2, I think I'd be going with the 2.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Try to put some plus they don't have the shot blocking presence anymore. So maybe try to get the ball to Chen at the high post and let him drive. Try to get something to the hoop.
Everybody on their feet for the last 8 seconds of the game.
Oh my goodness, what a game. This is one of the best bottom games of the week I've ever done. We got a sold out packed house. We got number 5 and number 9. Coach Ken with a smile on his face. Let's see if that smile continues. Okay, I think they're gonna try to go to Chen here. Let's see.
Yeah, I think they're going to go to Chen, or they're going to set a screen back for the inbounder here.
Yes, that's another excellent possibility for sure. Here we go. Ball's in. All right, Lee pops out. He's going to come off the screen. He's just going to put his head down. He's going to force it.
Nowhere to
good.
go.
They got a foul.
They did. They did. They were late.
Now there should be.
I'd say about 3 seconds.
I think they got to put a couple
he
seconds
is going to
back
put
on the
something
clock.
back. The officials are coming
Let's
over.
see, the officials are coming over. It looks like 3. The one official's indicating 3 seconds. But they have no timeouts left. Now, let's see what they decide to put on the clock. I think they indicated 3. This is big because if there is only 1 second to go.
The rebounder has to heave it, or.
Yeah.
But it all become moot
It's 3
here.
seconds now. That's enough time for them to get a good shot off.
However,
but if he makes them both, it won't matter.
Yeah, Barriere just has to hit 2
Just the
free
way
throws.
this game's gone, I don't think he is. I think we're going to get a last-second shot at some point. I really do. Let's see how Mr. Hartman does. It's no good.
And now they're going to put in a rebounder? No, they're not.
No.
Would you have at least one rebounder here? So if the ball goes in, to challenge the inbound pass.
I would.
Yes,
I would.
or the
I would.
rebounder.
You don't want to let him have that free
No,
inbound.
now they're going to have a free inbound.
Yes. Yeah, I wouldn't let him have that. Just throw it. He's got to get guys down court, though. He's got to.
And they threw it to nobody.
Away, and that'll do it. Yeah, and again, that's one of the unfortunate things, with the FIBA timeout rules. In the old, NCAA rules, you carry your timeouts, so you can really save them, right?
Yeah.
But here, you got no timeout, and again, unless it's something you've consistently practiced, the kids don't know what to do.
If you would have practiced, then you have, you set the time on the clock in practice.
Absolutely.
Okay, there's 12 seconds left, and we need a shot. There's 8 seconds left, and we need a shot. There's 4 seconds.
And in NCAA rules, you could actually throw it to center, call another timeout, and advance the ball that way.
I remember doing that a few times in games I've coached in the old high school rules, where throw it the length of the court, get another timeout.
Wow, an absolutely devastating loss for poor St. John. They led for almost the entire game. Barriere showed their toughness and their mettle with a phenomenal fourth quarter comeback. Did we grab that score sheet? I'm curious to know how they outscored them in that quarter. I think it was pretty significant. See if you can see the score after 3 quarters. See if you can see the score after 3 quarters there, Coach.
I'm trying to take a look here.
Nice comeback, boys. Nice comeback.
Yeah, it was.
What was the 3 quarters?
It was
score?
a 58-48.
So 48-58-6, that's 28 points they put up in that fourth quarter. They outscored them 28 to 20. What was it?
28-13.
Yeah, that's a big
28-13.
scoring. That's a big scoring fourth quarter, and tough loss for the home team. But what a phenomenal game.
That was an excellent game. We'd be happy to be part of it. And for some of these students, it's probably the first game they might have witnessed or seen here.
And hopefully that gets them excited about coming back and excited about basketball, because it's so hard. I mean, obviously I'm biased. I'm sure we're both biased. But when it comes to high school sport, basketball truly is special. It's just something about it. And as we talked about, 75 years our tournament's been running, one of the best tournaments in the history of the country. And you just don't get anything like this. It's so exciting.
It was. And kudos to Barriere. They came in here, came into this spot, were down most of the game and fought hard.
Yeah, they were down as much as 14. They were down as much as 14, and they hung around. I think in the end, they were so strong on the boards that some of their early shooting woes, they made up for it by giving St. John's almost no second shots. And, Van Sickle and Schilling really went to town in that prime time there, end of the third, start of the fourth, when they made their comeback. Well, thank you very much for joining us here in the Baden Game of the Week. This was a phenomenal game. We appreciate your support. Remember, check out our website at bchighschoolboys.com. All of our teams are up there, all the rosters, all the schedules, all the scores. Go to varsityletters.ca to check out Howard Samura's weekly high school articles. In particular, next week, starting with our 75th anniversary edition of the tournament. The tournament takes place March 4th to 7th at the Langley Events Center. All 4 tiers, 1A, 2A, 3A, and 4A. Should be another phenomenal, exciting year. Thank you once again for joining us, and I enjoyed working with you today. Thanks so much. It was a lot of fun.
Thanks for having me, Paul. It was a pleasure.
All right, Paul Eberhardt signing off from the Baden Game of the Week.